that sinking feeling, right? You get a check, you deposit it, and then nothing. It bounces. All of a sudden, the money you were counting on has just vanished. It's incredibly frustrating. But listen, that frustration, that's not where this story ends. Today, we're going to turn that frustration into a solid plan. We're going to walk through a super clear step-by-step guide to help you win your check bounce case and get the money that is rightfully yours. So there it is. The banks handed you back that bounce check. And the big question is, what now? Is that money just gone for good? No way. You actually have some really powerful legal tools at your disposal, and we're about to walk through exactly what you need to do. Now, to make this as simple as possible, we've taken this incredibly detailed legal mind map, and trust me, it covers every possible twist and turn. And we've boiled it all down to the most critical, must-do steps for you. We did the heavy lifting so you can just focus on getting this sorted. Okay, first things first. What exactly is a check bounce? Well, to put it simply, it's when the bank basically says, nope, can't pay this. The official term is dishonor of check, and it can happen for a few key reasons. The most common one is just not enough money in the account, but it could also be something like a mismatched signature or if the person who wrote it told the bank to stop the payment. And here is where everything changes. A bounced check? It's not just some minor financial hiccup. Under the law in India, it's actually treated as a criminal offense. Now, that is so important to understand because it means the legal system is designed to help you, and it has some serious teeth. So knowing the law is on your side, what's your first move? Well, this is the most important part, and you have to act fast. The countdown literally starts the second that bank tells you the check has bounced. All right, you are officially on the clock. You have a 30-day window from the moment you get that bounced check back. And within those 30 days, you absolutely must send a formal legal demand notice to the person who gave you the check. This is a hard deadline, folks. If you miss it, you pretty much lose your right to take them to court over this. Now, this demand notice isn't just a casual letter. It's a very specific legal document. You've got to include all the details of the check, state exactly why it bounced, and, this is key, you have to give the other person 15 days to pay up in full. Think of this as their final warning. Pay now, or I'll see you in court. A little pro tip, send it by registered post. That way, you have a receipt that proves they got it. Okay, so you sent the notice, you've patiently waited the 15 days, and nothing. No payment. So what's next? Well, now it's time to take it up a notch and file a formal complaint. This is it. That polite but very firm demand you sent was completely ignored. Does that mean you've hit a dead end? Not even close. It just means we're moving on to the next phase. Now you're ready to take this matter to court. And this right here is the trigger that opens the courthouse doors for you. The second that 15-day deadline from your notice expires and you still haven't been paid, you now have the legal right to file a criminal complaint with a magistrate under Section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act. When you go to file that complaint, you need to have your evidence toolkit ready to go. Think of it as your proof package. You're going to need that original bounce check, the slip from the bank explaining why it bounced, that's called the return memo, a copy of the notice you sent, and of course, that all-important postal receipt proving they received it. A nice organized file is really the foundation for a strong case. Okay, your case is filed. Now, for a lot of people, the whole idea of going to court can be pretty intimidating, but it really doesn't have to be. Let's pull back the curtain and take a look at what you can generally expect to happen. The process itself follows a pretty clear path. First, the court sends out a summons, officially telling the other person they have to show up. Then, they'll appear and plead guilty or not guilty. After that comes the evidence stage, where both you and they present your sides of the story. Then the lawyers make their final arguments, and finally, the magistrate delivers the judgment. To be successful, you've got to anticipate what the other side might say. Your case is pretty straightforward. You were owed money for a real debt, you followed all the rules, and they didn't pay. But be ready for them to come up with excuses, like claiming the signature is forged, or that they issued a stop payment, or a really common one, that the check was just for security and not meant to be cashed yet. And that really brings us to the most important piece of advice. In a case like this, it's not about who can tell the most dramatic story. It's about who has the proof. All those documents you so carefully collected, the check, the bank memo, that postal receipt, they're going to do all the talking for you. So after all the evidence has been shown and the arguments have been made, we finally get to the last stage, the judgment. This is where all your diligence and patience pays off, and justice gets served. And this really shows you just how seriously the law takes this. The potential penalties for the person who wrote the bad check are significant. We're talking up to 2 years in prison or a fine that could be up to double the amount of the check or even both. The court has some very strong tools to make things right.
So the court can decide to impose jail time, a hefty fine, or a combination of the two. The goal here is really twofold. First, to get you the money you're owed, and second, to penalize the person for writing a bad check in the first place. It's all about making sure you get the justice you deserve.
But let's end on one final, very practical question. Let's say you've gone through the entire process, you've won your case, the judge has ordered them to pay you, but they still refuse. Was it all for nothing? Absolutely not. The court has enforcement procedures for this exact situation, like seizing your assets to make sure its judgment is actually followed. Winning the case gives you the power to collect what's yours one way or another.